HARDTALK.com.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
My enemies' walls are bound to crumble, and to the floor their spears will fall. I've been made and sealed with love, but time to battle, I'll fight them all. I felt the whips and remember chains, but my sword has been forged by my father's flames. Fight your fears and heal your pain, and victory will be in your name.
I used to be weak, but I'm not weak no more. I found the strength of my ancestors deep down in my African core. I used to be frightened, I'm not afraid no more. The Father blessed me with the heart of a lion and a warrior soul. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer. Yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them.
Tell them no retreat, no surrender. I shall fight till the end of days. I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan carrier. Father loose all shackles and chain. This morning first thing as I wake up, King David turned Sam to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people to go meet it up, pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it
So
up.
no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer. Yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them.
Thank you, Father. I want to say thank you, Lord. You are everything, Father. Thank you. Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart. Even some of my friends turn enemies, and they pray for right to feel. And remember you gave us your only begotten son, but we gave him the wound of love. Send down your warriors with the hello. Be carried down to the end of days. No matter how the devil try trick me, unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this time is coming. I can see the high tide raise. Without you there is no other. Could it be that we decide?
No weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer. Yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer. Rise up and conquer them.
I am a man. I am a champion. I am a warrior. So who are you to tell me that I cannot make? Who are you to tell me that I am not the greatest thing that God ever created?
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and PG Martinique. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on 97.5 City Sound FM, 89.5 CRFM, 91.9 and 91.5 Real FM Radio, 92.9 Sister Al Radio broadcasting from Hillsborough, Carriacou, and 94.9 We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, New York. A special good morning to those of you joining us live, whether it's on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Good morning to you. And with me in studio this morning, I have none other than my co-host, Mr. Roland Bola. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Good morning, Miss Duncan. Good morning to all our listeners out there. Good morning to Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique. Good morning to the Caribbean, or wherever else you may be listening. I think some time ago, Miss Duncan, you said to me that when a fact check or something was done, you had people streaming your program live all the way in Nigeria. Well, if you're out there and you're streaming this morning in Nigeria, pleasant good morning from beautiful Spice Isle, Grenada. We are happy to be with you again for another day. Hope that we can have good positive discussions that will, at the end of the day, be able to assist you in making positive choices, good decisions that will help you and yours to get through the tough times.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Bola, it is a wonderful day. I'm a little bit tired this morning. You know, I think I spent the most part of my day yesterday with family and, of course, celebrating.
Yes.
Another year of life. A lot to be grateful for. And, you know, I know a lot of people look at their birthdays as days to, you know, celebrate, eat up and drink up. But for me, I always use that time to reflect, you know, on the year that has gone by and what I have achieved in that year, you know, where I was a year ago and where I am right now.
And what have you found? Did you?
That I am on a steady path.
Steady path downwards or upwards?
Up.
Because you can be on a steady path, but you can be regressing and not progressing, right?
At all, I'm progressing.
You're progressing.
Yes.
And you're happy with that.
You know, I always set goals for myself. Every year I set a new goal.
Wonderful.
You know? And I must say that I have been exceeding those goals.
Was one of those getting married?
No, that's not even in the books right now.
Okay. No, just prying. I mean, we're having a little conversation. So
yeah,
that's
not. In
sorry for doing it publicly, but
right
I
now,
wanted to
right now, my biggest focus, I'll be honest, is, of course, apart from continuing to educate the people and doing my civic duty to Grenadians to ensure that they're always informed and always have information, is to finish my degree. That is one of my goals right now. So I'm hoping that maybe by end of next year I should finish in Mr. Bola.
Okay.
Time flies quickly.
Well, you know, that's good. It's always good to plan. And everyone doesn't have to plan to get a degree, so I just want the listeners out there to know that, because Ms. Duncan's plan and goal and focus at this time is completing her studies, ensuring that she has her degree. It doesn't mean that because you're not in an institution of learning and you do not have a degree to pursue that you still cannot plan. We can all plan, and we all should plan. It doesn't matter what strata in society we fit in. Doesn't matter what our monthly or daily or weekly income may be. Doesn't matter how hard life has hit us before and how many times we have failed. But we can still rise, we can still plan, we can still work towards a plan. Maybe you're living in an apartment building that you're paying rent at the end of every month, and you must give yourself time. You must plan that I want to have my own property, or I want to upgrade from the apartment that I'm in now. And it doesn't just happen overnight. You must plan, you must see what it will cost you to get to that next step, how long it may take you, and the things you need to do. Because, you know, sometimes we encourage people to plan, and what people do is sit or take a pencil and a paper and write down the things they would like to have, they would like to achieve. But the other part of it is that they never work out the journey to that, you know. How long would it take me from where I am to where I'm planning to go, or where I want to go, or where my intent to go will take me? How long will it take? What will it cost? What are the sacrifices I may have to make, you know? What are the things I'll have to do? What I may have to give up? what additional task I may have to take on. So there are a lot of other things than just the plan. The plan is to do X, Y, or Z, to get to this place or that place. And we must all plan. Because when we don't, there are many things in life that just come to us as a big surprise, and we're not prepared. In my own life, for many, many years now, I have learned to do that and say that, and to live by that principle. I say, God, give me the strength and the courage to always hope and plan for the best. Give me the ability, though, to accept the worst if that's what comes, or anything else in between. So my focus is always to be the best, to do the best, to achieve the best, to receive the best. But I must be very practical and say to myself that even if and when the best is not there, if it so means that I get the worst end of it, I must be so well prepared mentally and otherwise that I can deal with the worst. Because sometimes, again, in planning, if it doesn't work out for some people, they get shattered. Everything falls along around them. The expectation was to get $1,000 to get something done, and that's all the focus was on. Mentally and otherwise, psychologically and otherwise, they are not prepared for if there's a disappointment, there's a shortcoming, and they get shattered. Some people get crazy. Some people can't move when they get a fall. Always remember and keep in the back of your head, true strength of any individual is not measured by how hard they can pack a punch, not how hard they can hit, or how heavy they can lift. But it is measured by your ability to get up every time you fall and start the process all over again.
Absolutely.
That mental strength, that's not just physical strength. It's when you are strong and you are tough mentally that you can deal with the issues that confront you. When everyone conks you out and think that it is over for you, that you have breathed your final breath, that you get up and you come back even stronger than before.
And Mr. Bola, we always encourage people here to plan. It's something that I believe in a whole lot. It's something that I know works because I've tried it, and you can't tell somebody how to plan, but you can encourage them to plan. Like, for example, your future. How many people are actually planning for their future? How many people are actually planning for after they retire? That's a big deal and a big issue. Some people are comfortable with the fact that, well, I pay in NIS, so when I retire, I'll collect a pension. And then when retirement hits and you realize, well, I don't have that additional income coming in, but I still have all of these expenses and I can't, make heads or tail of what I should do, then that is when you start to become frustrated. You know? So it's so important to plan for your now, plan for your future. It just plan, set goals, sit and say to yourself, and I believe a lot in you being able to control the outcome of your life. Yes, you'll meet challenges, and it's not going to be easy. It's never an easy thing, but you are in control. If you sit and you plan and you have a plan, you have a backup plan, and you should have a backup plan for your backup plan. You understand, Mr. Bola? So that in the event you are a little derailed, you still have hope. Some people, they put plans together, and when the plan fails once, that is it, they give up, they find, man, I can't continue with that, I too much hard work. And we don't realize that this is what makes us stronger. The only way you'd realize if you're going in the right direction is if what you are doing is failing, Mr. Bola.
Yes.
Because it means that you now have the ability to know what not to do in order to continue to grow.
Yes.
So people need to see it in that light and don't think that a failure is a kick in or a stamp in the back to, keep your face down. No. It's actually a boost in the right direction to show you what not to do so you don't make the same mistake and you can continue to grow from there. So it is important to plan. It is important to put your life into perspective. You know, nobody is responsible, and a lot of people feel like, okay, I vote and I put an administration in government, so my life should automatically be better. You know, a lot of people believe that. But the fact and the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter who is in government, which administration is there, who is prime minister, who is not prime minister. It doesn't matter how many connections you have. At the end of the day, if you don't do something for yourself, if you don't work on you, on building you, on helping yourself to grow and develop, you're going to always remain in the same position.
Yeah, you're correct. So you need to have a plan. You need to have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a follow-up plan.
Yes, a
right?
backup plan for the backup plan.
Right. So you whatever you plan, if it doesn't work, what is secondary? And if secondary fails, there still need to be a third. Yeah. And in some people's cases, even a fourth. So, I mean, we are talking about that. You are responsible for your life. The outcome, that was a very good point there, Ms. Duncan. The outcome of your life is dependent on you. Mm-hmm. And as you so correctly put it, we may vote a government. We may vote for a particular representative. We may like a party. The fact that you vote them and you like them doesn't mean that they are now totally responsible for your life. Your destiny is in your hand.
Yep.
Whatever happens at the end of the day to you, you must have a significant part to play in that. Now, the conditions can be set. There are programs, as we've mentioned some before, and we will continue to mention, that the government has in place. There are things that the government can do. There are people that will benefit more than you from certain programs of government, because the situation at any given time is different to yours. But situations change. You can either get better off or worse off. And based on where you are, there are programs that are designed to give you assistance, not to take care of you forever. And that's the mentality that sometimes some of our people have. Well, I voted. My child have to get books. I need transportation allowance too for my children. I'm not getting seed money. Oh, I want 2 fortnight work. It is okay to want all of those things, but you should not be totally reliant. And when you get something, if, for example, you are assisted in one area, you know, sometimes people, they are making it. It's tough. And make no mistake about that, and I'm not trying to belittle anybody here, and I want people to hear me out quite clearly. There are some people where things are tough, but they grind and they get through. They go. It's like turning that heavy wheel every single day. And oh, how sometimes we wish that our load could get lighter, that our journey could become shorter, or there could be some, express lane where we can carry through that load so quickly and come to the end of it. Many of us. And sometimes, we hope and we pray for that. And it happens because someone identifies you, the system identifies you, the social worker identifies you and say, look, hey, here's a single mother. 4 children, 5 children. She's struggling. Maybe doing a little something. Maybe working in someone's kitchen. Maybe on someone's farm. But the little income, she can do with a little help. And you get onto the seed program. So 2 or 3 of your children are there. So at the end of the month, you're collecting a 300 or a 500, right? Which now is additional income to what you was making, which should make your burden a little lighter, the load that you've been carrying a little easier. But here's what. For many of us, when that happens, we do not sit down and say, hey, I was getting by on $500 a month, a week, a fortnight, whatever the case may be. I'm just using that as an example. I'm now getting an additional 5. Well, there were things that I've always needed. I always felt if I got a washing machine, it would ease the load on me having to wash all these clothes on a Saturday. So maybe for you, that's a priority. So you're getting that income now that takes care of the schooling for the children, the transportation. So what you were spending on that, you invest that into getting a washing machine. But in so doing, you have to understand that you will no longer be going to the river. So there's an additional cost for water. There would be an additional cost for electricity. So you have to budget that into the mix, right? And I'm not telling anyone that, and I'm not saying that publicly to say to anyone that you should not aspire to get a washing machine. I'm just saying, in so doing, recognize that the additional cost will be X, Y, Z, plan and decide how you're going to deal with it. Because sometimes what happens is we rush into doing things, not counting the cost, not looking down the line, and then we fall back into a situation worse than we were before.
Yeah.
We'll get into a situation worse than when you had, when you were making only 500.
Yeah. We have a call on, first caller for the morning,
okay,
so let's
great.
take that call quickly. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Fine, thanks. I just want to make this contribution. I'm not disappointed with the reaction of some of the political parties, particularly the National Democratic Congress. Why am I saying this? One, it is true. And secondly, they have the biggest majority of the votes in all the opposition parties or political parties apart from the ruling party in Grenada. Mm-hmm. And if they are thinking about one day to form the next government, law and order is compulsory in the home, as a matter of fact, in any civilized society. And I'm saying this in relation to the reaction of some unwise people that played jab, regardless of what mass. First of all, I want to say this. When the announcement was made that there will be no carnival activities and no carnival, etc., I think it was an error to allow Cyber Monarch to go ahead. I make no apology for that. But two wrongs don't make a right. Even though that had taken place, okay, the question of why the ban has been imposed is because of the contagious nature of the COVID-19 virus. COVID isn't looking for your political affiliation, your social status, etc. It will kill you as it has killed tens of thousands. And I was expecting that civil society, for example, civil society only resurrect when an election comes to run down Keith Mitchell. They have not said anything. The silence is deafening. NDC has not said anything. I think someone aspiring to rule as the leader of the NDC should have addressed that issue, because law and order is not just for NNP. It's for the home, it's for the church, the school, and every civilized society. I only hope folks are taking note when election time comes around and when people will talk about governance. Okay, wrong is wrong and right is right. I think if a government, if I'm in an opposition party and whichever government in power, and that administration does something right and it deserves commendation, it should be given. We have to end that backwardness and that dotishness and call wrong wrong. Okay? Thanks for listening.
Thank you for your contribution.
Very timely, very succinct, very straight to the point, and I think that is what we have been appealing for when we say to people on this station, listen, think for yourself. Stop for a moment, do the thinking before the action. Yes, because sometimes people may encourage you, they may want to influence you, they may look at your state of mind at a particular time, especially when you're most vulnerable and most emotional, and encourage you to get into things. And we just say to you, listen, we are not the ones to determine for you, which is along the same line where we are talking about, you know, your destiny, what you do in life, where you end up, the outcome of your actions is left up to you. It can be influenced by systems, by society, by rules and regulations that are in place, but by individuals most times, your friends, or those who pretend to be your friends. You look at what they do, they encourage you to do certain things, but you must want to do something because you already in your mind determine that the outcome, and sometimes even what you determine the outcome to be, it may not always be that. But at least you have a plan of where you want to be. I just want to say finally, before we dissect into what we really want to talk about this morning, that even with a plan and with absolute meticulous planning, failure sometimes come around. It is not the option. It is not what we're hoping for. But sometimes we may fail for various reasons, which I don't care to get into now. A lot of different things can cause you to fail at something or with something, even though you planned it thoroughly. There may just be a little kink in the execution. The conditions may change, because when you plan something, it's like it's like a game of cricket, for example. The two teams are ready. They are riled up, energetic. They all trained and they're ready to go. The curators of the field, or the groundsmen as we call them commonly, did everything they do. And just 5 minutes before the game is to start, a torrential rain start. I mean, what can you do? You've done everything that you were supposed to do. Tickets sold out, the stand will be filled. But the rain came. And so you just cannot fight that. So there are some things in life sometimes, even with the best of planning, that you may not be able to fight. But please remember, my friends, failure is not fatal. If you fail at something, it doesn't mean the end of the road. It may be disturbing. It may become very emotional, especially when you fail at something where you invest a lot of time, a lot of energy, and sometimes money, and it doesn't work out. I mean, that could be heartbreaking. But that is where you choose strength lies. That is how you can determine whether you're weak or you are strong. If you are able to say, hey, it did not work out, you're able to do an assessment and identify why it did not work out, and you are prepared to get up and restart, whether it's with the same thing or with something new. That is what makes you a real strong person, a resilient individual, and someone who really has their destiny and their life plan in their hand. So, friends, let's do what we have to do. And in saying that, doing what we have to do, Mr. Duncan, our Ministry of Education and Minister did a press conference, or did the post-cabinet. It was the post-cabinet.
A press conference.
Just a press conference. It was not post-cabinet as we normally know it, right? Because the times were changing, but I thought it was just movements of the time, but was the post-cab. But among many, many things which was said by the minister and others who were there, they did mention the reopening of school and should be from the 7th of September.
7th of September.
7th of September.
Mr. Bola, before we jump into well, actually we should, because sometimes we get so caught up in a topic that we actually stray so far away from what we actually want to talk about. But there is a call coming in.
Okay.
And I want us to take that call quickly before we jump into that topic. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Duncan. Belated happy birthday to you. I wish God will give you health and strength for many, many, many more years.
Thank you. Thank you.
And good morning, Brother Bowler.
Good morning to you, sir.
I think you have a mission, you know.
I do?
You support, like a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I second that.
You are a counselor, sir.
Thank you.
Second that,
if you
caller.
think that way, I'm not going to argue that with you.
And finally, as an example, I listened to the debate in the Senate yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
I appreciate a lot of the young people in there. There's one man who is always angry and out of control. I'm not mentioning him. He's a leader of some people. But a young man, I was always hearing his name. I was so impressed. It gave me goosebumps. A man they call a young man they call Mr. Cadet. Is
Judd
that his
Cadet.
name?
Yes, Judd Cadet. Yes.
Well, counsel that man, let him stay on track. He's not afraid. He's articulate. He's smart. And I know there's a great future for him. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, caller. Right. So, Mr. Paula, we have to jump in now into that topic of the reopening of school, because we know everyone is fishing for information. Right now, they should not be fishing, because I think the minister was quite clear in her deliberation and in explaining what the expectations are. Now, I stress on the word expectations, because it is not set in stone.
Right.
You know, and we keep saying the situation is fluid. There are a lot of things that can change at a moment's notice, you know, and I think at this point in time, we should start acclimating ourselves to that. getting accustomed to the fact that things can and may just change at a moment's notice. You know, we've been going through COVID for what? How much months now?
Well, close to 6 months. I don't think it's 6, but very pretty close. We are in August. And we started this COVID thing in the February, March, thereabout.
Right.
Yes, March, yes.
So about
We
6,
started,
7 months.
Yeah, we.
And in that time, so much has happened. So much of life as we know it has changed, has evolved. We've seen things that we thought were so beneficial to us just die down, flutter away. And we wonder sometimes, what are the things that we hold dear and hold important? Or at least we think we hold dear and hold important. So I want to make this point to say that there are people out there, and I've been, monitoring the social media and looking at the comments and so on. There are people out there who have already started to condemn and started to cry down and started to poke holes in the protocols that are being established for schools. One of the many things that will be happening is the distribution of the ebooks. And for those of you who probably don't really understand what it is, ebooks when they say the ebook, it's not an actual book. It is an electronic device in the form of a tablet, and it has the books
Downloaded on it.
Downloaded
the
on
children
it.
can access
That the children can access.
the
yes.
books by using the because
By using it. Mm-hmm.
for many people what they know is the tablet.
Yeah.
It is good to give them the explanation because they may go into another jurisdiction, another place, and hear people talking about e-books, here they're talking about different devices. But that is really what they mean, the tablet.
And you're right, because I went on social media the other day and when the e-books came in, and they did a little news piece on it, and underneath the news piece in one of the comments I saw somebody ask, well, Minister, what about the tablets? So I mean, this is just a teachable moment. The ebooks are really the tablets, right? And as we know that the tablets for the secondary schools have arrived, those of the primary schools are en route. The minister didn't give an exact date as to when, and I very much agree, because we have seen in the past couple months how very unreasonable some people can be. Some of us, we go on Amazon and we order thing and we realize it taking a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They tell us a month and it coming in 2 months and we doesn't quarrel. But
yeah, we does. We just don't quarrel loud.
We don't quarrel loud. We ain't going on social media and tell Amazon all kind of thing. But nonetheless, they are here, those for the secondary schools, and very soon we will begin the process of distribution to parents.
So was a date given for that?
I believe they're looking at a date, I'll tell you, the 7th of September.
Is when schools should reopen.
Is when schools, yes. And I'm seeing distribution of devices, orientation of teachers to ebooks. So it's a period of 1 week, the 7th to the 14th. Okay. So you have a series of different things happening during that time, So it's a process. It's a very detailed process, if I must say, well put together. But of course, as we know, COVID will do what COVID wants to do. And while we may not want to believe it, we are really at the mercies of the coronavirus. We have to move to suit and adjust our lives as a result of that. So schools are expected to open in September. The ebooks for the secondary schools are expected to be distributed to the parents. Now, one of the issues that I hear coming up, Mr. Bola, which I think is very unreasonable, and some people, when you comment on certain things, they want to say you're saying that because you're biased. But this is something, or this is an issue that you can't be biased about. There is a fee attached to or for the registration of the devices, which is $50. Would you believe, Mr. Bola, there are people out there making noises about the $50?
Yes, I would believe. Wasn't that meant to be a question?
Well, yes,
Or,
it's a
was it,
question.
or was it just a
I wa-
slang in the process?
I
Like,
want
if I
to,
would
I
believe-
want to know if you believe that that could actually happen.
Well, I know it is happening because there are some people who complain to me personally, more than seeing what's on the social media platforms. There are people who spoke to me and said, "But why are they charging?" And now I do not want to get into the dynamics of what it takes. I don't know if the minister did give a costing, but it was in the millions. I know to purchase or procure, as they sometimes would say, all of the devices, all of the tablets, as we want to call them, or the devices, the electronic devices. I still is very unclear, not absolutely sure as to whether or not there is a cost attached on a monthly basis to the government bill from the service providers who would provide the internet connection. Because with the devices, you have them, but you are supposed to be connected. And I know a lot of work went into ensuring that all of the schools are set up with broadband, that the flow and speed of the internet has been upgraded. There was this this project, what's its name now? It's leaving me. Pardon me for that. It may come back to mind just now. That the Ministry of Infrastructure Development Control, and I think Flow is the one that worked with them, where there was this undersea cable that came out from all the way up the US, come down Puerto Rico and so, and came in here into Grenada, which is helping to ensure that the speed at which these devices can operate, all of that infrastructural work was done at a cost. And like I said, I don't know, as we pay at home from our homes for internet service, I am not sure, and that needs to be verified with the ministry. If there's a cost attached, there's a cost, right? So all of that which the government has to undertake. Now, it was a promise made by government, that some people would say. It was a platform promise. It was an election promise. It's been fulfilled. However, though, we have to be realistic as a people. Yes? Outside of this administration saying so on the platform while they were campaigning, we are now in the era, we are in the zone, we are in the time when the modus operandi, the mode of operation demands of us that we advance to that stage. Gradually, we are seeing it taking over. Even the banks, for example, just to stray from it, they are more into online banking now. More than, I mean, you walk into some banks and the lines are getting longer and longer up to the counter, and sometimes there's just one teller operating, because the banks are advocating that more of us do more interaction through and with the internet.
Yeah.
You know, using the platforms that are available, doing transfers, doing deposits, doing withdrawals, whatever it may be, paying our bills. Do it online. Sit in the comfort of your home. The credit unions, the commercial banks, many of the retail and stores. I mean, for example, I think Food Fair, and I'm not advertising for anybody here now, so I don't want others to say, well, you didn't say that about us and we have that same service. I'm just giving an example. So please forgive me and don't crucify me if you are one of the stores or supermarkets that offer the same service. But I know for a fact Food Fair, because they have the advert, you can stay at home using the platform that they have set up, order your groceries, and I think once you're within a certain radius from a certain distance from the store, they will drop off your stuff for you. You can pay online. You don't have to walk into the store. You don't have to. You don't need to have cash in your pocket. You have your cards, as they say, the means of transaction, the exchange of money, soon to be in this world, will be plastic. And some people may think, well, it's like plastic bag. What they mean is that these little cards that are credit and debit cards and so is what everyone will be using sooner than later. So we have to come up to the plate. We have to start preparing this generation and the next one to come to be in a state and the stage where they can be accommodated and life can go smoothly for them. So outside of the fact that there was a promise, it has become necessary, and we will be seeing more and more of that, to start using those devices at school and other places. There are some islands where they have introduced it already. We are starting. There are some that are behind us. There are some that are planning. There are some that don't even have the devices yet. We are not all at the same stage. So we have to appreciate that this administration, that the Ministry of Education, that the officials, that the Minister PS and everyone else that is working in the system is preparing our society for the time in which we are going to be living in. Yes? Like it or not, it's going to come upon us. Slowly but surely. There are some of us that don't care too much about those devices and wanting to do all the many things that people do on them. But we'll have to adapt. We'll have to. And I don't think it's going to be an overnight transformation. It will be a gradual move from where we are presently to where we should be. So I want to thank and appreciate and show appreciation for what the government and the ministry is doing. And that's the first part, because it is necessary. Yes, we have to get there. And based on what I've heard the minister say before and recently, the transformation is going to be a gradual one. Yes, the shift from carrying those heavy tests. I've been to PTA meetings because I have, children that still are in school. And I've heard parents complain that the books are getting too heavy, that the bags are too heavy for the children. And sometimes I look at those tiny little ones who have to carry those bags on their back with 4 of those books. They are indeed heavy. Yes? Now, when you get into the devices, the tablets, the e-books, that child now goes to school with that device. Or if the device is kept in school, I don't know. They get to go home with, right? Now that device, having 8 or 10 or the
18
books,
books,
18 of those books that they need to use, downloaded on it, and with the touch of a key, that child can move from maths to science, to chemistry or agriculture, or whatever, physical education, just with that one device. It means that a tremendous weight is eased off that child on a daily basis, that student. A tremendous weight is eased off the parents, because you no longer have to procure. You no longer have to go to the store. You no longer have to spend $1,500 and $2,000 to get all of those books.
But let me pause you there, Mr. Bowler, for a moment. But that as well, and it needs to be clear, because I don't want anybody to go and say, oh, well, look, Mr. Bowler say you don't have to buy your school books, because the minister clearly did say that it is a gradual process, which means that for this year, while the children get introduced to the ebook learning, while they introduce themselves and the teachers are able to maneuver through in an effective way, that e-learning, that whole online learning, using the internet to teach and so on, while people are getting acclimated with that, you still have to buy some of the school books.
Yes. Yeah. So I was talking futuristically, and thank you for that explanation, Ms. Duncan. It's something I would have said at the end anyway, because I heard the minister saying
I
it.
just want to make it clear.
Yes, and I understand it, and that's why I said earlier on, Minister did say it's a gradual transformation.
Yeah.
It's a gradual process, because it's not every child and every teacher and every parent that is used to and will be able to maneuver and to deal with as effectively as they should work with with e-learning and work with the e-books. So that period of transformation necessitates that you still have some of the textbooks, or most of it. So for those who are not yet able to maneuver properly and with a full understanding of how they need to do it, they would still have to refer to the textbook until they get to that stage where no longer the textbook.
And also, I want parents to understand, Mr. Bowler, because I think there is a misconception out there that when you have a curriculum, or when teachers get a curriculum, they are told exactly what to teach. And I want to clear up that misconception because a teacher's job is really not as easy as we think it is, you know. And parents would understand, like myself, having to be a parent and being a teacher as well, would know how difficult it is sometimes when you have to do your schema work, that is your yearly plan, when you have to do a discrete lesson plan, when you have to do a daily lesson plan, when you have to, you understand? So there's so much aspects of it, and these are individual plans you're speaking about for every subject area, for every concept. That includes the activities that you plan to teach, what resources you plan to use, how you plan to bring across the subject area that you're planning to teach. So it's not 1, 2, 3 as people see it, or as some parents may see it. So sometimes you hear parents making the statement of, well, if they had the ebooks, why do we need to go and buy books again? You know, why can't the teachers just use the ebooks, or why can't we just use the tablets in school? It is not that easy to just jump into something like that. And that's why I say a lot of the times that we need to have patience, educate ourselves on certain things so we gain better understanding and appreciation for processes and so on as they happen, you know, because this thing that is happening now is a very delicate thing, Mr. Bowler, very, very delicate. And if it's not done properly, if too many mistakes are made, it can damage the smooth learning process for our children. And it can hold them back even further from what COVID has already done to the learning situation that they have. So I want parents to really understand how it goes. This thing is not as easy as saying, oh, well, my children know how to use a tablet, so that's okay. It is not that easy. Because now the teacher must find resources that she can use online. You know, she must now find creative ways in which she can incorporate this e-learning device into her teaching curriculum. So I want
into there because when you say how you make it as though
or
teachers
her teaching
are only feminine.
Well, their teaching plan,
great,
I should say, because you now have to find where you may give a child 20 math sums to go home with on a paper to work out. The teacher may now decide, okay, well, I'm not going to give you 20 math sums on a paper. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a math video to watch, and you'll come back tomorrow and give me a report on what you have learned. Or, you know, just an example of the different now strategies that these teachers must learn and get accustomed to and be able to execute flawlessly for our children. So I want people to understand that. I think it's important for us to stress on those points, so people don't think that we're saying we're just coming down on parents for understanding because we feel like we're trying to push an agenda that they must accept the tablets and pay for the tablets and whatever. It is not that. It is for them to also understand that you are dealing with a wide cross-section of teachers, but also a wide cross-section of learners. A wide cross-section of learners, because everybody don't learn the same way. So this thing is very delicate, and I want people to understand that it must be done properly. They must take their time, not because you beat your chest and go on social media and run your mouth about how they say so long this and they say so long that means that it's going to happen overnight. There must be a process, and a good process at that. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to Miss Duncan, Mr. Bowler.
Good morning, yeah.
And I want to say belated birthday greetings to you, and I'm glad that you had enjoyed your day yesterday.
Thank you.
However, what I was thinking, if it's the bigger children that have to pay the $50 for the e-learning books, or is both of the primary and the secondary school children?
Well, the e-books for the primary schools are not here as yet. They have been ordered, and they are on the way based on what the minister would have uttered. So I would want to believe that it is only the secondary school children for now.
For now,
Okay.
because that's the devices
That's
that
what
are
they
available.
have. That's what they are preparing to
Yes.
distribute.
But what I'm saying, is it $50 for e-learning book?
Per device, I think per child.
Device?
Per device, yes,
Yes.
for the device.
Okay. In my mind, I was thinking, you do not have a device and you getting one for less than nothing at all. $50 and the parents are complaining. You could get, some of them have to get a tablet for $400, $300 and this whatever price. I was thinking that should have been $100, and when the smaller ones come, it could have been $50. That's how I see it.
Well,
I don't know everybody pocket, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I know the government is trying to help. But no matter how this Prime Minister trying to help, it's people. My God, he's judge. They judge him, they prosecute him, they bring him tribunal and all sorts of thing already. So maybe when he died, maybe he don't have to get any judgment, because as far as I see the people and them judge him already, it's only for the sentence to pass.
yes, probably so.
Come on, and we say we are a Christian nation. I just cannot believe it. I just can't believe it. No. I'm sorry to say it so this morning, but I just cannot believe it.
Well, you're expressing yourself and your feelings, my dear.
You know,
Really
look,
so.
even my son want to go back to college. He find himself. He said he don't bother if anybody laugh at him or say anything. He went to get a little 10 days or how they call it
Yeah,
in the road.
in the debushing, yes.
Yes, so that could help him to go through.
Yes.
You understand?
I
Ken?
hope he's successful once he reaches the age for
Yeah.
working. I think from 16 years you can work, 16 or 17.
16.
Yes,
16,
he's
yes.
trying his
Yes,
best, but
yeah.
what happened? He went there already and he spent 2 years in college.
Okay,
And then he want to pursue a little football right now.
okay.
So he trying to go through that channel to see how he could make it in.
Mm.
And Mr. Bola, I cannot work the job that
Yes.
I could help him, because
I know. I think I know who you are. I mean, not knowing you as senior, but I think we spoke before, and you told me what your
What?
your
You see,
physical
you
deficiency was.
study my business.
No. I just listening to the voice, and I'm thinking that is a voice I know.
But
man.
as I'm telling them, children, sometimes when they get me vexed, I have pot, spoon, and belt for you.
Yes.
Watch it coming. I like to hear when all you make little joke in and between,
Well, we have
just to get the little
Yes.
tension
Off,
but I
yes.
mean to say, sometimes you have to be real to say it just as it
as it is. Yes, my friend.
Just as everybody have money to go and jump up. I find even the government should put it $250.
Well, no, this
But
is a caring
I know
government.
it go too high, but
Yes,
however, you know,
Yeah.
it's just the advancement to help the children, and that's what is in mind to work with them.
Yes.
And that's so good to do.
Thank you for
My
recognizing
goodness, just
that.
now they might have to Mr. Bowler, like, and Miss Duncan, they might have, like, this big television, something set up, and the children, all the children is on the gadget.
Okay.
Working towards that, because I remember when my son had to go to do surgery in Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri.
Mhm.
He had the opportunity of going to school, and that's what you were able
They were learning from, yes.
to
yes.
use there to learn in the sense of learning. So according to you all, we're moving away from certain things, and
Yep.
it's not because we wanted to, but this one has come a little necessary for us to, so that we could help our children, because we don't want them to fall by the wayside. We still want advancement for them still,
Yes.
you know. But anyway, I must say, somebody else want to call, but may the blessing of the Lord be on both of you. As I always tell people, stay safe and continue all protocol, and may the blessing of the Lord surround you all, even as all you're going home traveling and stuff like that.
Yes.
God surround you all with all your love. And I don't know if Devon or Mr. Scott listening to me, but I want to say Have a nice day, and Mr. Donald. God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Have
We
a nice day.
we
Okay,
appreciate your call. We appreciate your contribution. We really do hope
Yes.
and wish that the
You
Lord
all are
continue to
welcome,
bless
you
you
know.
as well.
I mightn't be able to go and work, but sometimes that is what I do. I call
Yes.
the hospital, I call
Yes.
911. Anytime I hear a number of some institute, I'll call and I'll tell them the same little things, because I guess that is what maybe God has for me in store to do.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I'm doing it.
Trust the Lord and continue doing good always. If you
Yes,
can't do
thanks
good,
so much.
then don't do anything at all.
Exactly.
Great.
God bless.
God bless you.
All right.
God bless
Thank
you.
you so much for your call. And Mr. Bola, we have another call on the line. Let's take that call quickly. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Duncan.
Good morning.
And good morning to you, Mr. Bola.
Good morning to you, sir.
I would like you to know, Mr. Bola, that I did not receive cake. But that's okay, because contrary to popular report, the wedding, a marriage is in the book.
Okay. I didn't get
Yes.
cake either. Just for you to
And
feel more confident. I didn't get cake, no ice cream either. I didn't even get invitation.
Well, the invitation going to come in the right time.
Okay.
Well,
But the wedding is set.
I feel like the caller
I-
knows
I-
about
I-
it more than me.
Well, I know what I know.
Okay.
Anyhow, it is strange that persons are complaining if there is going to be a fee, because if you have to buy books, I don't think you just walk into the bookstore and you just collect books and you walk out. And I know also there is a registration fee for the school term and so. And persons know that. The thing is, the e-books is going to come. I'm not sure if it's with all the books or some of the books. That means that you're talking a couple $1,000s that parents would not have to spend. So could you help me, please, with the logic of complaining for something that you're getting virtually free, although it's not free because there is a cost attached to it, but the parents are not pulling the money out of their pocket. So I'm trying to follow the logic. Mr. Bola, you can help me there?
Well, I will do my best. If you finish, or you want to say anything else?
No, well, I finished for now. I will listen online.
Okay, all right, good, right.
All right, thank you so much, caller.
Like our friend and our caller, I the logic beats me too. Because if one, and maybe that is something that the ministry could be advised to do, to really put a costing per device. Not just the purchasing cost, right? I mean, they can say, well, each device or a device will cost $10 or $100. That's a cost. But there's so much more than just the device, the electronic device. The average cost of the books, there are 18 books, as we know, that are downloaded, right? So you add that in. The internet service, the maintenance.
Just maintenance. You don't even have to talk about the books, Mr. Bola. Just maintenance alone. Imagine the ministry had to solicit the services of more people to program these devices.
Right. So, Ms. Duncan, I don't want you to be the one doing it. I'm saying let us, because we are getting calls and we like to explain. We have said, and we must do that what we want to do is bring credible information to people.
I did reach out to the minister, and
Great.
we had a conversation, and
Great.
I believe we are looking at her being here tomorrow.
So even if she's not here, or even if she comes here and gives an explanation, I think it will be worth the while that we itemize, so people have an appreciation of what it is that you're getting. So in the minds of some people, oh, well, they promise us that on the platform we're getting it now. Why $50? $50 is a lot to some people. Believe it or not, I know that.
Yeah.
To some of us, we might be able to just put it out. It's a lot to some people. However, these same people, and I will continue the thought after we take that call. Let's not let the people.
Hi, good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning, Ms. Duncan.
Good morning.
I'm just calling to find out if you did contact, because my brother said nobody contacted him as yet. I just want
That's
to
the
know if
lady
you had go through the
with the-
process
with-
for me to get,
with the sailor?
because my brother is still and is moving him from ship to ship. I just want to know if you had done what I asked you to do for me.
I absolutely did. I did pass his information on to the relevant authorities. Maybe
Because nobody, we call the Ministry of Tourism, and nobody didn't do anything. We trying to putting down phone on us, and nobody's not saying anything.
Wow, that's
I call
unfortunate.
Foreign Affairs, and the same thing. They put on phone of us, like they seem to. Nobody knows what is going on, and my brother is getting frustrated concerning this thing on the ship.
I understand. Listen, I did send the information to the relevant authorities. However, it may be my fault that I didn't follow up. You know, I should have followed up to find out if any action was taken or anything like that. And I probably take blame for not following
Let me
up.
ask a question, Ms. Duncan. You have the contacts for this lady? The one who is
Yes, I
calling?
do.
Name and everything?
Yes.
And where she lives? Because I think we can work on it from another angle.
Yes.
I mean, with the authorities, but at the same time with the local people within her constituency. Wherever she's from, we can put them onto the as well and have more than one angle.
Because I will rather do it like that, because I don't like calling on the phone concerning these things all the time.
I understand.
You know?
So we can talk to you after the program is over.
Okay.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you so much. Yeah. But I do remember this issue,
Yeah.
and I do remember passing it on.
Yeah, I know. That's why as she called, I
yeah.
asked you if that's the lady with her brother on
Yeah,
the
I'm
cruise
quite-
ship, because I remember the voice quite distinctly.
Yeah, I'm quite
Yes, with the-
disappointed though
that
to
nothing
hear
has
that
happened.
nothing
So
has
we'll
been
have
done.
to, once you say you have the contacts and other things, we'll work with that.
Yeah.
So do we have another call?
We have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
And good morning to the diplomat.
Good morning to you, sir.
How are you today?
Well, I'm good. I got a nice little shower before I came in here while I was in the garden.
I know you're going to exploit that.
Making two potato banks, man, and the wind came down.
The seeds that you planted when I met you, since I met you, could I get some of the fruits?
The fruits are not ready yet, sir. If you're talking about the time we met at the agricultural shop,
yes.
That's not too long ago.
Okay, how are you doing? Have a good day, though.
Yes, we are doing good. Thanks.
No, I listened to the conversation. I'm listening very loud and attentively.
Yes.
And I think we understand the times that we are in.
Very much so.
And some people tell me I'm ahead of the time. I don't know how true that was. Maybe 25 years ago, they said I'm ahead of the time. So I know how far ahead am I now.
Yes.
But in my forecast, what is happening here, I predicted that.
Yes.
And I think I happened to communicate to the Prime Minister at some time, pointing out to him that the safety net is likely to sop up all the revenue which we will derive if we are not going to pay attention to the expansion, the building and the expansion of the economy. Now, the situation that we have here will get worse as the economy continues to contract. If we fail to grow, the government will have to expand the safety net. And once the safety net is expanding, it's definitely going to cut into the government expenditure, into the government's revenue as it leads to dealing with the economy. So I don't know if you can assist here, but I am saying here that we have to pay attention to the growth and rapid expansion of the economy from here on into the future. Because if we fail to do this, the safety net either expand or it contract. You'll have to start cutting down on the safety net, or you expand it in a way where the government will not be able to find the revenue to sustain it. Very, very critical. So my recommendation now is that regardless of what is happening now with Corona, the government have to see the need to expand the economy rapidly, recreating jobs so that people can do their own spending. Because if I have to do it my way, I will cut out the safety net. I'll put you to work, I give you the right salary, and I will tell you how to save, how to spend your money. Because you see, this thing about revenue and what you call contingencies actually to run in a country you never know when a disaster will fall. The government needs to have a reserve. So we must pay attention to the development of the economy now to avoid more disaster down the road. And the tablet on the electronic device could be a disaster if we have to give every school child a device. Where would the revenue be coming from? So I wanted to help us here in finding a way to expand the economy, to create the necessary jobs so that people could earn and do their own spending. No school clothes, no books, no food. When I say food, and no hampers. Spend your own money and take care of your home for yourself. So the government have money to put into a reserve for future problems.
All right.
Have a great day.
Thank you so much for your
That would be an ideal
in a perfect world
country if we can get that kind of perfection.
Yeah.
But the caller is correct with some of what he's saying in that it's not an ideal situation as we speak. Things are not going in the manner in which he ideally hopes that it will go, but I do hope and pray that more of our people will come to the realization that if we all just sit by, don't produce, don't do anything, and depend on that one source, meaning government, to provide everything for us, especially in a time like now where you have a pandemic and the revenue collection is far less than what it should be. What you are collecting at the end of every month is insufficient to take care of the basic needs. And also, as he said, the safety nets may have to be expanded because more and more people will be going down on the breadline if COVID continue. And that fits into the context of why we should obey the regulations and we shouldn't have carnival-like activities and all of that, which is another story that we need to talk about. But just to zero in on that issue of the comments made by some people and the complaint. And I am saying that I can understand that in a lot of instances, $50 is a lot for some people. Bearing in mind that there are people who are now not employed.
Yeah.
Right? They were at one time, and COVID has caused them to go. Look at the people in for example, in the tourism industry. They're home. A lot of hotels are closed. A lot of restaurants are not operating. The people who due to the activities at the SGU was making a living, they are not able to do that now because the SGU now have distant learning, virtual learning. No longer people are at campus. So, yes, $50 is a lot. But let's really look at it critically and seriously. As a parent, single or having both mother and father, who has the responsibility? Whose responsibility is it to ensure that your child or children, if that's the case with you, gets a proper education?
Yeah.
Ministry of Education, government, they do have a role to play. They are responsible for setting the foundational and conducive conditions, so ensuring school buildings are up and that they are proper, they're not leaking, that they are secured, that your child may not get hurt if they go into that building or facility. Make sure that the teachers are there, ready to teach, and that they can receive the salary at the end of the month. Ensure that the equipment that they have to use is there, that the furniture are there, and the government is so doing. Where does your responsibility lie as the parent?
Yeah.
Now the government is saying that for a device that will last your child their lifetime in school and beyond, that is going to ease you off, that you must make a contribution of $50. Sometimes I wonder if the people who are setting up the complaints are really the people who have children to school or just some people who wants to make mischief.
I wonder the same thing.
I wonder that. Because here am I thinking, since yesterday I'm thinking, hey, we have some fathers. While, yes, what they make is not $1 million a month, but they will easily sit by a bar in one afternoon, one Friday afternoon, one Thursday night line, and spend $100, $150. Easily. Eating snacks and drinking a couple of beers, Guinness, or whatever their drinks are.
Yeah.
Am I the one to say that you should not drink? No. I can tell you that drinking is bad for your health. But you should determine how much you drink.
Yeah.
If that same father has 4 children in school, which means that a total of $200 must be paid for devices, if each child needs to get one, decides that for 1 week he's spending $50 less on entertainment and drinking, it means that in a month's time, just by making a commitment and making the sacrifice to spend $50 less, in 1 month, you're going to ensure that your 4 children are ready for school with the device.
Yeah.
Let's think about a mother who may be single with a limited income that has 2 children going to school, and say, but this wicked government and ministry wants to take $100 from her for 2 devices. But that same mother operates 2 cell phones on social media day and night, ensures that she puts $20 credit on each phone every week. If she decides that she's going to put $10 less credit on each of the phone, that's $20 she saves per week. $80 per month means that she can pay for both devices for her 2 children within a month with change.
Yeah.
And yet still using those examples may not be the same thing for everybody, because our circumstances are different. But we all have an obligation and a responsibility, as we've said at the beginning of the program. Our destiny is in our hands.
Yeah.
No one else is responsible for the outcome of our life more than ourselves. Hence the reason our children, whom we brought into this world, we have that responsibility to take care of them and the educational needs.
You know, you're absolutely right, Mr. Bola. Sometimes I wonder, and I mean, it's a harsh thing to say, because sometimes different circumstances get you to where you are, you know, and we have to accept that. We have to understand that. We have to sympathize with those people. But sometimes I wonder, you know, you have your children. It's like me. I have my daughter and my son, and I turn around and say, well, listen, I can't pay $50 in a, so I got to find that money and pay them. But who's, in layman terms, who send you? You know?
In layman terms. Don't go more than layman. Just stay in layman.
Yeah,
who send you?
Who send you?
Yeah.
You know, and it's not saying that there aren't people who genuinely struggle financially.
Of course,
and
there are a
need
lot of
little
people who
help.
do.
But there are some people out there who are complaining for complaining's sake, because they feel, it's like we said earlier, they feel that there's a particular, and not only do they feel that, people are giving them the impression that that is how it is supposed to be, that the government is in office to take care of your every single need. But in truth and in fact, you must see what your future looks like. You must set goals to get there and do what you must do so that you and your family can thrive and you can survive. Whether that reality is working 2 or 3 jobs, whether that reality is working a job that isn't your dream job until you can get to a place where you can get to your dream job, whether that reality is going into farming as a little side job, to bring more money to the table, whatever that reality is, that responsibility is yours, you know. And sometimes we fail to understand that. I hear people complaining all the time, talking about, oh, $50 for the books, where we supposed to get at, and where we supposed to get money for if they don't have school feeding program, how we go feed them children, and where we go get money to buy uniform, and how I go pay the bus, and these trivial things. Notwithstanding, there are people who really struggle financially, and I have to keep repeating that, because there are some people who are going to jump on the train of, oh, well, all you must understand, some people seeing trouble. Yes, that is true.
It's tough for some people.
Why?
And they accept that.
But why do you continue year after year after year to see the same trouble and not make moves?
Not one step, not one effort.
Not make moves to help better your life. that is your responsibility. Government is only supposed to provide the ample environment for growth of the economy, development of the economy, so that so that the economy can thrive enough, so that there can be job creation, so that you can put yourself in a position where you can now either create a job of your own or seek employment within private or public sector, right? That is the reality of it. So don't let anybody sit there. And you know, it's funny. Some people don't think, huh? You have people sitting there telling you, oh, well, government ain't doing enough to help you. But you are not telling them, well, how can I help you see how you can help yourself? And that is bad-mindedness in the highest degree.
I wanted to make the point in when I spoke about, the fathers, the mothers, reducing on some things. I wanted to make the point that even within some communities, right, you have people who are a little more affluent than others, who may have a little more, who can afford a bit more. But I mean, you are there with your children, and from time to time you may approach that individual and say, well, look, I'm not able to feed my children. Can you provide this? Can you provide that? But can you go, and when you go to the same people, say, look, I have 3 children that need to have 3 devices that cost $50 one. I don't have the money and I'm unemployed at the moment. If you are in a position to do it for me, what can I now do for you?
Yep.
As compensation.
Yep.
Meaning that what they ask you to do must be legal and above board.
Yeah.
But there may be things. That same person may want the house get cleaned. They may have a little backyard, something that they wanted somebody to do. Oh, we have a caller on the line.
We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, I was just listening to your program there concerning the devices and whatnot for the children and the efforts that government is putting into the children, right, the families. Now, I live in an area where the government is spending and putting so much effort on some children. And when you invest in something or someone, you're looking forward to get a return.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And in that family, government have invested in these children to go to secondary school. And they all come out nothing. The farthest they reach is Form 1 or Form 2. Not even Form 3. And then they come out with nothing. And the father, on a daily basis, when someone talked to him concerning his children, attitude, he would say, the community have to mind them and government have to mind them. So some people have this negative mentality that the state have to take care of their children. God say, yes, be fruitful and multiply. But if you know you cannot upkeep 2 children, why make 10? And you expect the community and you're bonging that the community have to look after you and your children.
Yes.
And when the government is spending so much to educate them, there is no return. Not even to say thank you. Not one child could come up with something to say, well, yes, I could see what government has helped me with. And you're still making more and saying government has to, as though it's a bomb. There's time for government to pull up their socks.
Okay.
People like these, you have to do something about it, and something drastically have to be done. Hence the reason why people always depend on government to give. And we who are paying taxes, when we need something, we don't get it. And all they're doing is just stealing people's things. You understand?
We hear you.
It's aching. When I see it every day, it aches me.
Yes.
There's one child, I even had to go to the school, take up the responsibility as a mother, and go to the school with that child and speak to the principal and even the child class teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? To see that something good come out of one in the area of that child in the home.
Mm-hmm.
And what it turned out, as people may say, a book at all. Nothing. Only running up and down in people's property. and distressing people. So what is the sense? And there's another one now, government investing in again. I hope by God's grace something good come out of that one. It's time to step up.
Yes, we hope so.
And when people know that they get in, they will do nothing. They will do nothing. Because they expect government and the community to mind them. We have to do something about that. Fools don't go in heaven. And we are just making ourselves fools. Thank you.
You're welcome. I can, I heard the passion in that person's voice. And you do have people like that in society that appreciate what government does, but becomes very angry when what is given to you, the talent that you have and the assistance given is not used up properly. And sometimes, the systems that we operate with in government and other places, there is a system for giving assistance through social development and what have you, but that has to be complemented by other systems of supervision and so forth, right? And sometimes we have that breakdown where one arm of government is doing something and the other arm of government is not upkeeping what they need to do. So the truancy officers and other people like that who should be checking and verifying and ensuring, sometimes they don't operate. And who to be blamed is the system and how it operates. Because you don't give in this one hand and whatever you're giving is going down a deep hole that there can be no return. We need to take the other caller before I continue.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you,
Good morning.
Ms. Duncan, and good morning to Mr. Bowler.
Good morning to you, sir.
Right. I tend to support a lot of what you're saying there, Mr. Bowler.
Yes.
But I also tend to tell you that is the politicians that responsible for that kind of behavior of the people.
They have some responsibility. I would agree 100%.
Huh?
Not all. I said they have some responsibility. I would agree with you 100%, but not all of it.
And not all, because I know you're a different person to that.
Yes.
But you see, if we continue teaching people that kind of way, I know people that go to the parliamentary office and tell the ministers, oh, I don't have nothing to cook. I don't have nothing for the child. I don't have nothing for this thing. And expect the minister to find a breakfast for you, a lunch for you, a supper for you. And religiously, they will go every week and do that. And expect the minister to find that money. I know a fella begged the minister 3 times in one day. A minister 3 times in one day. You understand? So we have to, as ministers, not you directly, but you have to train people to understand. For instance, the gentleman talk about giving people social money. That can't really stop. But you have to choose the people that receive those things. Yes. A lot of people that receive this social package, when you do a proper examination, they're not in need of it. They're not in need of it. I can tell you something. There is working on a gentleman's house now. The gentleman gets money from the post office. Whatever money, however he gets it. And the people that working there, that gentleman he'll sit down by the working, he won't pick up a piece of wood to help them. He won't help them move a bucket with some sand. And he sits there by day and he expects government is built for him. After the house is built, I guess as much, he's going to ask government to furnish it for him. And he stayed in the house and fall to the ground. We have to examine. I know it's politics, it's politician, and you're going to need the person's vote or whatnot. But the fact is we have to change some of the system of operation. You can't do that for Harry and Paul waiting for you to do that for Paul. It's going to cause trouble and confusion. There are people that definitely doesn't want to help themselves. And they depend on the politician for everything. And not an NMP, NDC, NMP, any one of them.
Yes.
If NDC happen to come in power, same thing will happen. There are people that sit there and waiting on the politician and feel that you have to mind them. The social services is important. You must assist the needy, but there are people definitely that are sit and wait on the politicians, and they do it religiously every week they goes into the politician and they cry trouble. And that same person, you will see them later on. If it's a young lady, you will see her later on in a bar. You will see her somewhere else. You will see her going to a function. But she tell you that she don't have money for her children. We have to change it. We have to. Now, in connection with the statement that is going on, what the Prime Minister said, when the Prime Minister said that there will be no more stimulus package. Yes, he used the word, and I understand in Parliament yesterday, Mr. Senator
Gawi.
Huh?
Senator Gawi.
Senator Gawi said that they misled what the Prime Minister said. That could be true. But it's a word that every one of us use almost every day. If I give you $1 today, and you come tomorrow, I tell you, well, I give you already, I won't give you tomorrow. No. That's a common word that is being used. So if the Prime Minister says, listen, we cannot finish giving stimulus package now, and if anything happens, we would not have more stimulus package. He's just using a word that is normally used by all of us. Mr. Bola, if somebody asks you for $1, you're going on the road, and the same person asks you when you're coming back. You go to tell him, well, I give you already, I can't give you for it again. That's a normal word.
Yes.
But people blow it out of context, I agree. But the Prime Minister did use the word, but not meaning it as what people mean. If you give nothing coming in, less will be coming in, and more people want. Yeah. Where is the government going to get it from?
Absolutely right.
Where are they going to get it from? Less will be coming in. Because if you have more people, you play jobs, you play this, you do things, and you get sick, so you have more people to take care of. Where is it going to be coming from? And people have to understand those things. So the word that the Prime Minister uses is not a bad word. Perhaps in a situation like that, perhaps he should not have said it as that. But it's a word that every one of us says. The priest and all say it. The pastor in the church says it. It's not a bad word.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes in the context in which you speak in, people don't understand.
Yes.
But if you continue draining the where you're getting the funds from, where is it going to come from? And that people have to understand this thing. Where are you going to come from? Who's going to get this? Who's going to give you? You're going to go and lend? You're going to go and make borrows? Are you going to go and beg other countries for money for people that flee? I tell you, don't do that, and you do it. I tell you, you tell your child that. We tell our children that. I'll give you yesterday, this today you come back for. I'll give you last night, today you come for. It can't happen. It cannot happen. So we have to change some of our moods. The politicians have to change some of the aspect in where they do and handle things. But it is not an easy job. It is definitely not an easy job because some politicians make it too hard already.
Yes.
Every week you see a set of people go to those parliamentary offices and all they're going for is a personal help. Give them a job, they don't want it. Ask them to assist, as you just said, they're not willing. But they want you to find something for them every week.
Handouts.
It cannot work. And politicians prepare to tell some of the people that forthwith. Thank you.
Thank you, Clifford. More than a mouthful. It's quite a lot. I mean, a lot of what he said was so realistic.
I want to quickly, Mr. Bola, put something into context because you've been a parliamentarian, you've been part of government and so on. And I know that this is something that happens. 2 callers before have expressed this. That there are people, and these are for the people out there who are vying for political positions. Because I am all for young people going into politics. I agree if you feel like you are passionate enough about people. And I want to stress that. If you are passionate about serving people, then I am 100% for go for it. However, politics is not easy. Being in government is not easy. You see, when you're on the outside of something looking in, you feel like it's cut and paste. You feel like it's so easy. And I want to appeal to these people because what these callers said is absolutely true. There is or was a rumor going around that parliamentarians receive some $10,000 for their constituency every month and so on, and that is why people feel the need to go to the parliamentarians and ask for whatever they feel they need, and they're supposed to get it. Mr. Bowler, let us dispel that rumor right now, that is absolutely incorrect. Whatever a politician does for the people in their constituency on a personal basis is from their personal salary.
Of course it is.
It is the monies that the state is paying politicians for the work that they are doing in government that is used in the constituency again. Yeah, it's being used in the constituency again. Mr. Bolan, I want you to stress on that because you have experience.
I can in due time, because many times that has been spoken about. There has never been a system in government, as long as I've known it, as long as I've been around, or even after I've left government services, where money is given to any parliamentarian to share among the constituents, to share within the constituency. There was something called constituency allowance, $1,500 a month, that I think people misunderstood to be monies for the constituents. And what that was is that every constituency, every parliamentary rep was supposed to, and it happens up until today, but the system have changed, have an office that they operate within the constituency. That is referred to as the constituency, the parliamentary constituency office, where once per week, twice per week, whatever time the parliamentarian has, they will go into that area where people can come to talk about issues. Like the gentleman said, people visit that office. I used to do it on a Wednesday. Most politicians do it midweek on a Wednesday, some twice a week. I know one person who does it on a Tuesday evening, I think, and on a Wednesday morning. Some does Wednesday and Thursday. Some does it once a week. And that $1,500 was for the rental of wherever that office may be, whether it's a house or wherever you're renting, paying a secretary or someone to remain in the office for you while you are out of there for all week, buying the utilities that you may need, like toiletries and so, because you operate a toilet, you need soap, you need bleach, you need a broom to sweep the place, paying the utility bills, electricity, water, then internet, phone, all those things, and paying the NIS of the person that works, as well as buying office supplies. So if you have a printer, you have a computer, you need ink and all those things. And my own experience, and not just that, that was money given to you once per month, at the end of the month, $1,500. But every quarter, there's a form that came from the Ministry of Finance. Every quarter, so January, February, March, you have to account on that form to show how the money was spent. So how much you paid monthly for rent, how much you paid for NIS for your worker, how much you are paying that worker that is there, how much you spent on office supplies, how much you spent on other supplies, what you paid for the utility bills. But you don't just write that in, but you had to send in copies of the receipt. So if I say for this month I paid $50 for electricity, there must be that bill and that receipt to correspond with what I put in. And I know for a fact that at the end of every single month, what you spent to take care of the office was generally more than the $1,500, $1,500, right? Parliamentarians continue to complain because there was that feeling, and some other people who were opponents to the government made people believe that, oh, don't worry with them, they get money every month for the constituency, go. Tell them your child is sick, tell them they want medication, tell them this. And some people were coming, they did. And out of your own generosity and your empathy for people, you help. But that is from you as the parliamentarian. What you was getting was just to take care of the office and the office supply. After several complaints of the money being insufficient, the system was changed where they got a vendor, someone who has a contract now with government that is responsible for all the offices. So the parliamentarians no longer get that $1,500. But the bills are sent in to the vendor, who takes care of everything for all 15 constituency offices, whether you're in opposition or not, and then they prepare the documentation for government and they are refunded with a fee.
Right.
So no longer the parliamentarians get it. So there was never a time that I knew of when parliamentarians got money to share among constituents.
Right.
It was always a fallacy. It was always false. It was always negative energy that was being put out there just to make life of the politician even more difficult.
Good. So we're bringing that to the fore, Mr. Bola, because I want to make an appeal to the young people out there that if you are going into politics, go into it for the right reasons. There is no money in politics. The only money that happens in politics is the one that you have to spend on your constituency. So if somebody out there is whispering in your ear and telling you, boy, run for office, you didn't see everybody driving a big ride and they had a big house.
Which you have to pay for in the bank every month.
Exactly.
You get a concession though.
You get a concession.
To get the vehicle. So
But
you don't pay the taxes, but you have to pay for your vehicle for yourself.
For your vehicles and so on for yourself.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, when your salary hits your hand and you go to your constituency office and 10 of your constituents come to you and say, Lord, at my gas, my water bill had to pay, credit call, they say they will cut me off, and the parliamentarian has to dip into their pocket and help in those and these are instances you don't hear about every day. You don't hear people saying, oh, well, the parliamentarian helped 20 people, they spend $3,000 on XY. You don't hear these things, but it happens. So that is why I'm saying any young person interested in frontline politics, it is purely service.
Sacrificial service, and you have to be interested in people and have love for them.
And you can't expect thanks because, as I've learned from a politician, politics is very ungrateful, and I have experienced it, so I can afford to say it now without conviction. Politics is very ungrateful. The same people that you help today will turn around tomorrow and say you never do nothing for them. So if you are going into politics because you feel the need to give yourself selflessly to the service of the state, I agree absolutely. But don't get in there for the wrong reasons, then get frustrated, and the people have to deal with half a representative. I'm just saying. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, how do you do, Mr. Bowler?
I'm well this morning. Very well. Good weather.
Me up for too long. Well, I don't even know where to...
Start from the middle.
Yeah. Let me start, I don't even know where to start from this morning.
I tell you, start from the middle.
But the caller before made a very good contribution. I mean, I like the way he analyzed the thing and everything like that. But I always say, still, the first thing that we need to change here in Grenada is to get our people to change our mindset, the way we look at things, the way we see things, and stop blaming people for everything every war that befalls us, every bad thing that happened to us, or everything that we do not have, or whatever. So we need to change our mindset. Coming back, for example, to, I think, the $50 contribution that parents will have to make for the e-book, the
tablet. Let's say tablet, because some people, when you say e-book, they think it's something else you're talking about, yeah?
For the device. For the e-learning, e-book device. Yeah, I said the $50 contribution. $50 contribution.
Right.
Yeah, that people are asked to make. And you're hearing all kind of comments about that. And some of these very people who might be commenting, or on whose behalf others might be commenting, the money that they might have available, just look at the way they spend the money. And even some of these people who receive help from the government, right, through the seed or through the social safety network and so on, look at how these people spend the money. But are you telling me that you cannot make the sacrifice, you cannot sacrifice $50, save up $50 for your children's education? I mean, sometimes I just cannot believe it, right? I cannot believe it. And a lot of the times, either people themselves or others on their behalf, the way they try to present this people's situation, one would get the impression that these people are starving, they don't have anything to go by, and things are so bad with them. As I heard a caller some time ago, not one, more than one, talking about St. Mark's used to be the poorest parish, and now it's St. Patrick's, people going without this and going without that and the other. And I'm really wondering whether this is so. Because sometimes when these surveys have been done, right, I don't know what yardstick, what benchmark they use, right? I don't know. They are professionals. They know what they're looking for and how they measure things. But to my mind, and I'm a person from St. Patrick's, and it's hard to believe except somebody could take me there and show me where these people are going hungry. They cannot put food on the table and things are so bad with them. We need to change our mindset. We need to take responsibility. We cannot expect everybody, especially politicians, because we bash politicians all the time, like they're responsible for everything. What about our own responsibility?
Yeah.
You have situations where, for example, you might have people with many children. I'm not saying people shouldn't make children, but if you had one child and you realize, well, single parent, right? The father didn't stand up with it, whatever. You make another one, the father didn't stand up, third one, and you go on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you want to turn around and blame somebody for that? Come on. We have a responsibility to maybe plan our family. A lot of us didn't do that. We make many children and without, really proper planning. We thought sometimes we have more than we had planned for, or sometimes we never had a plan. But at least we live up to our responsibility and we try our best to do what we have to do, because that is a responsibility. When you have a child or you have children, so if you used to involving whatever you used to do, whatever, these things that have to change. You have to know that, okay, you have added responsibility. But I know of situations where people get assistance on behalf to assist their children, and they use the money for their own personal enjoyment and pleasure, and then turn around and blame and criticize everybody. Yesterday, I listened to the sitting of the Parliament, and once the Parliament, the House of Representatives, whether the lower house or the upper house, once they're in sitting, once I'm home, I'm going to take in the whole session. And I listened to the debate, and the debate usually in the upper house is very, very interesting, very, very interesting. I enjoy it a lot. But, I listened to Senator Andrew Lewis, and of course he's the Labour representative in the Senate. And he made his presentation, and I believe he's a good presenter. He makes very valid contributions. But I could not agree with him yesterday when he made his two final points, especially the final point. And how could they use, of course, but let me backtrack a bit. I said from the very beginning that permission should not have been granted for this Soca monarch, this cyber Soca monarch, right? And so on. But whether that had happened or not, I'm on the ground, I'm somebody on the ground. I've been getting the feeling, I've been hearing people talking about whether that had happened or not, whether cyber monarch had happened or not, people would have gone out there and do what they had planned to do.
Yes.
But we cannot make excuses and talk about the politicians are not doing, the double standards, and the politicians are not trustworthy, and because of lack of trustworthiness, there is this rebellious reaction of and what we saw is the expression of people's anger and people what and the other. And if you listen to people generally, especially young people, because some of the things that he said and other opposition politicians are saying is that I'm not really hearing that on the ground. I'm not hearing that people are rebelling because our leaders are not behaving correctly or they are double standard and this and the other. This tone or this line that they are pushing, this is really coming from politicians, and especially the opposition politicians.
Yeah.
So when you talk, so the things that they are talking about, I say, but I'm not hearing that coming from the people. And because the leaders are not showing examples, or the leaders of this and that and the other, I don't know. But sometimes I look and I see what have the politicians, especially ministers of government, what would they have done to cause people to react, to rebel, to want to rebel against them or against the system? But I cannot see anyone in a leadership position who would try to justify what happened last week, Monday and Tuesday, the 10th and 11th, and especially 11th. I don't see justification in it. You cannot tell me that. So if somebody breaks the law, and because sometimes we accuse the police, so if somebody breaks the law and we believe that the police should have seen, and the police should have winked at it or turned a blind eye, so am I going to break the law with the intention, with the hope that the police or another police would do the same thing?
All right.
I would never. I just don't see the reason in this.
Colin, I know you have a lot to say, but we're really winding down for time.
Yes. So really and truly, we have to be responsible. So I'm appealing to our people out there, especially young people, do not be misled. They must try to understand You know, all of us have wisdom, not understanding. Don't be misled, because what will happen is that if these people happen to come into power, once mindset is not changed, the same thing is going to happen.
Same thing. If we plant in corn, we go with corn.
And the records would have showed that they have not delivered. On the periphery, they will see all sorts of things. They will give you the impression that they are perfect. They know how to get everything done. And when they get there, they just cannot. They're not up to the task. So
well, thank you. We really, really, really have a cut right here now. The time has come on us.
Yes.
We value your contribution, and we're sorry that we couldn't get you in earlier to speak to us. But there's always another day. I just want to say to all those who are listening to us, by whatever means, we were really happy for this conversation. There's been a lot that came out of it. We shall continue God's sparing life tomorrow. I hope that you would be safe, you would be secure. Have an enjoyable Thursday afternoon, a really good night's sleep, and God's willing, we'll be back here tomorrow. Please God to continue the discussion.
All right, guys. And before we leave, Mr. Bola, I want to leave people with this thought. Poverty is 70% mindset.
State of mind.
And 30% current situation. Just think about that for a moment. Guys, it's always a pleasure being here with you. In whatever you say and whatever you do, be safe, be secure. We always want to be talking with you. We don't ever want to be talking about you. Please do enjoy the remainder of your day and stay tuned for the National Report.
Section of Laborie Main Road to be closed for construction of a culvert. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back with the details to the news for Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. I am Rikisha St. Louis. Emergency work will commence in the coming week on the part of the Laborie Main Road that feeds into Hopevale to construct a culvert. The work forms part of the $48.6 million feeder road project that was awarded to Hanover Construction Company Limited. On Tuesday, Minister for Infrastructure Development, Honorable Gregory Bowen, and Senior Project Manager of Hanover Construction Company, Peter Copperstone, visited the site to review the scope of work to be undertaken. Honorable Bowen says the road has been deteriorating for some time, and a joint decision was taken by his ministry and the RGPF's traffic department to close that section of the road to facilitate the construction work. The news of commencement of work, Minister Bowen says, will be welcomed by the community.
Even before they commence the actual construction, this particular spot has become extremely dangerous. As you will see, we have barricaded it for a while, and the culvert has deteriorated to the point where we have to close the road. So having the contractors on site, we have asked them to commence here, and they have graciously agreed to. So in a very short period, we'll be closing the road so that they can bring the equipment on site.
He says the closure should not be seen as an inconvenience to motorists who traverse the area, but more so as a means of securing the site for execution of the job and the safety of those who will be employed there.
But we want to advise the users of this road in particular, come next week, it will be closed, and the various detours through Manjalu and through the police station, Mondelez. These are alternative routes that they will choose to use. But at this point in time, I'm very happy to say that you see the road is breaking to the left, it is deteriorating to the right, underneath, and so we have to move speedily on it. That's why we're starting at this particular point, even before the mobilization period has expired.
Hanover Senior Project Manager Peter Copperstone says it will take approximately 3 weeks, given good weather, to execute the job.
You can see the roads starting to deteriorate and collapse. So we're going to install a retaining wall, and we're going to install a new pipe culvert, and then we're going to fix the road surface to prevent the collapse that may occur.
This is just part of your project here at the library. What's the duration time you think it will take you to execute this part that is a bit dangerous?
This part we're looking at between 2 to 3 weeks, depending on obviously weather conditions.
Okay, and in terms of your workforce, how many people you're looking to employ?
Approximately 10 people.
From within the area?
Yes, we'll be using the local service providers which are from this local area.
The section of the Library Road where the construction is to be carried out will be closed for approximately 1 month as of Saturday, August 22nd. Continuing the news, Culture Minister Senator Norland Cox is optimistic that the Prettier Larceny Amendment Bill 2020 will encourage more investment in the agriculture sector. The Prettier Larceny Amendment Bill seeks to classify soursop as a protected produce, introduce a licensing regime for farmers, buyers and traders, and to establish a management unit to ensure farmers and their produce are protected through a partnership with the RGPF. Both Houses of Parliament have passed the Prettier Larceny Amendment Bill 2020. Senator Cox on Wednesday told members of the upper house that prettier larceny is the main reason many are not investing in agriculture. He said the bill will reduce the number of farmers that are affected daily by individuals illegally removing their produce from their property.
Prettier larceny is one of the most significant contributor to persons being not interested in investing in agriculture. Mr. President, one of the worst experiences you could ever have is to go to bed in the night and then you wake up in the morning and your produce, a significant portion of your produce have already been harvested without your knowledge, and in some cases sold. And you have somebody benefiting from your labor. I think that is one of the anything second to that is from a Carriacou standpoint, is your crops being destroyed by animals. More than 98% of all farmers are affected by prettier larceny. So this is something that is very, very dear to farmers, and we have to find a way to address this as we move forward, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, it's within this context that we present this amendment, this Prettier Larceny Amendment Bill.
Farmers Representative Senator Dunstan Campbell gave support to the bill and explained how expensive it is to farm and even more costly to not reap the rewards of your labor. He is confident that the Prettier Larceny Amendment Bill will make a difference in the status of agriculture.
Once we can address these little things, and I have the confidence that we will, this bill can make a significant difference in the status of agriculture. Because when we look at the figures for soursop exportation, the value, right, it is significant. And if you have soursop as a protected commodity that is again protected by this law here, we can do a significant amount.
Moving forward, farmers, travelers, and traders will be required to acquire a license for produce weighing 15 pounds and more. Failure to comply can result in a fine of $5,000 to $10,000 and imprisonment of up to 4 years. Senator Christopher Diali stood in support of the bill and stressed the importance of protecting soursop.
We need to seriously look, now that we have put it under protection to some degree, have that kind of level of communication and coordination between agriculture and businesses like Marketing Board to see how we could first of all set the standards and then centralize it to see how it can be done so that we have an idea and control on what goes out there and we could protect the preferential condition that we have now for this fresh produce that we seem to be into. And we have a lot of farmers who have invested in soursop production. Quite a number of acreage is on soursop production. So it is something that we really have to pay attention to in order to give farmers relief.
This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
The house was shaking. Then said the story here, babe. Crack, 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 crack. and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office.
A message from the National Disaster Management Agency and SEDERA.
Welcome back. Government has invested an additional $5.4 million under the Disaster Risk Reduction Strategy as the country continues to implement measures to curb the effects of the busy Atlantic hurricane season. Minister with responsibility for disaster management, Senator Winston Garwe, told members of the Upper House on Wednesday that 380 crews have been deployed under the annual debushing program. The program, which commenced on Monday, will see groups clearing drains, cutting overhangings, and clearing roadsides to reduce the effects of flooding and slides during the rainy season. Senator Garwe says this investment was made despite several millions being spent on COVID-19 preparedness and stimulus packages.
We have deployed our environmental wardens very early to ensure that, one, they clear the overhangings, those branches and limbs that is likely could fall in the event of an impact and damaging utility wires. So they've been out there skillfully trimming those overhangings and also clearing the waterways, the drains, the culverts and gullies and so forth to ensure that we do not have any obstruction in the event that we have heavy downpours like we're having at this point in time. It is important to note, Mr. President, that we as a government take this thing very seriously because we have seen the impact that those systems have had on our own economy and the countries around us.
Environmental wardens have also been deployed to assist in cleaning drains and cutting overhangings.
This program will run for 4 consecutive fortnights, commenced on the 17th of August, and will conclude on the 9th of October. And the value for this program is some $5.4 million. It is significant as well. This is a significant amount given the season that we are in, the period that we are in, COVID-19. And the government has been called upon to make payments that it didn't budget for as part of a stimulus package to ensure that workers who have lost their entire income got something, 40% of what the last income was. So having to spend now $5.4 million in this program, as I said, is significant, knowing what government would have just done and is continuing to do as part of a stimulus package.
Finally, in the news, President of the Limes Development Committee, Brian Benjamin, says his committee is ready to accept the responsibility of maintaining the Limes playing field once it is handed over to the organization by the Ministry of Sports. The Limes playing field serves the entire South, and for years there have been calls on the government for assistance to improve the playing area and drainage around the field. Benjamin feels a sense of hope that sporting activities will soon resume because of the work being done.
This particular part of the project had brought the field to a much better condition than how it was before. Although a little bit more could have been done, but still we appreciate, what have been done. The ground now presently, it's playable. Things could happen on it. It don't have the serious bumps and things that it had before. It's a lot better.
Benjamin says they are now monitoring the growth of the grass as it needs to get thicker before cutting, looking forward to the use of the field in the new year. With the work on the playing surface now showing progress, Benjamin believes that the schools within the South may be able to utilize same for athletic training.
The athletics part, well, I think, you know, based on how it is right now, we can try an athletic activity here again. We did it once, and it was a huge success. You know, we did it, and it was a huge success. We had little limitations based on, you know, how it was at the point in time. But how it is now, I think we can do a much better, you know, athletic event down here. It's a bit wider now. We can get a bigger track. You know, the surface is not as bumpy as before, so I can say it would be safe, you know, to have athletic activities down here, you know, in the future.
Some of the villages that are waiting to utilize the playing field includes Belmont, Frequenté, Montou, and Grandans Valley. That story just ended the national report for today, Wednesday, August 19th. Let's recap the top story. Section of Laborie Main Road to be closed for construction of a culvert. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.